Hello and welcome to Party Select, where two dudes and a guy who's their friend talk about the best thing there is, video games. My name is Shay. I'm your host for this draft episode. I'm joined, as always, by Cody. What's up, dude?
Hey, it's me.
And my brother Kyle. Hey, man.
Hey, it's me.
Hey! We're from the Midwest. Hey!
We're drafting over here.
I live in Georgia. I'm walking here. We're drafting here. I don't know what that's about. We did it. That's now cemented on YouTube forever.
It's canon.
It's canon. It's canon lore for Party Select. We are doing kind of a new thing now. We have historically over the last 2 years done fantasy critic drafts, which you can go. If I remember, I'll link the video right now, or you can go click it in the little top right corner if you want to watch our one from 2026. No, you won in that you got to play a bad video game.
You won last place.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take my
medal. You won the ability to go play Madden, which was an extremely frustrating experience for Cody and I. I know that much to watch you. So in a way, we lost.
It was very overwhelming.
But yeah, we do that draft, which is where you draft games based upon what you think their open score critics are gonna be, and then you get points based upon that. But we've never done like a draft of other things, and so I think it was a couple days ago or last week, celebrated the anniversary of the infamous Horse Armor DLC in Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, which wasn't like technically the first DLC, but it was like the first big DLC thing. Not maybe the best example of great DLC, but there have been a lot of great DLCs. So to celebrate DLCs, we're doing a draft of them. We each are going to pick 8 DLCs, expansions. This is paid add-on content to a base game. Kyle described this as, well, you said it's not what?
It's not an expand-alone, right? Because those would be like expansions for games like Uncharted Lost Legacy is sort of like an expand-alone of Uncharted 4.
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yes, totally. Like these are DLCs that you have to buy. They're paid DLCs where you launch the base game and then get access to the DLC. It could be a skin, it could be a weapon, but really, they're probably all going to more be like content DLC, like expansions or
with a
missions
story
stuff.
and all that. Yeah,
something that enhances the experience of the base game.
Yeah, so we're going to draft. Each of us is going to end up with a roster of 8 picks. We did a randomization, and we're going to do a snake draft. So it'll go Kyle, Cody, me, Cody, Kyle, etc. through 8 rounds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to post a poll in our Party Select community section, and we can link that in the comments. So if everything goes well, that should be linked in the comments. Go vote for your favorite, who you think drafted the best roster of DLCs. And obviously drop us a comment if there are any big ones that we forgot. We learned through this process, or Cody learned through this process, that you don't play a ton of DLC, which blows my mind.
No.
A lot of WoW expansions, maybe, but not as much other traditional DLC.
I learned that if it's not an ongoing, a persistent game, I really don't return.
You finish it and move on.
I don't return that often. Yeah,
I feel like I do that more now than I used to, and that's just the being a busy adult kind of thing. It can be hard to go back,
right?
But I ended up with 52.
Holy shit.
Shortlisted nominees. We're each drafting 8 games, which is 24 total games, and I decided to have a list of 52 because I'm a crazy person and I just wanted to capture everything.
I hope all of the games on my list don't get drafted because I only have 21. So.
Yeah.
Well, then
you might run out.
You could, I guess.
Maybe I'll only have 6 games on my team. It'll be that good.
And so I guess what's the? Is it just
like
when people vote? Is it just like, hey, I think this is the best group of DLCs, or maybe we should up the stakes? Like our team, it's Desert Island DLC, so it's like you only get to play these DLC for the rest of your life. You're stuck on a desert island. You only get these DLCs to play.
How does that change what we're doing?
It just raises the stakes, bro. I'm dialing it up to 11.
If you want to raise the stakes, these are the DLCs that you would play on a plane. The stakes cannot get higher than on a plane, like literally.
Okay.
It's the highest stakes.
Dude, Artemis is on the way back right now. That's so much higher.
Yeah. Pick DLCs for astronauts to play. No, I feel like we're just picking the best DLCs.
Okay.
We can't just pick the ones that totally changes the draft. Because what if
That's fair. That's fair.
You can't change the whole thing.
You're right, but because then it would be about like which
safe.
ones would last you
want
the longest,
replay.
which ones you want. Yeah. You're right. That changes it. So it's just the best.
Just the best. The best DLCs.
Okay.
I feel like we should have a thing for whoever wins the voting.
We didn't establish any sort of stakes.
Oh no.
I also I don't know if we should do stakes on this first one, because between the three of us, I know we all have multiple Google accounts and there can be some manipulation in the voting. So maybe for this one, we don't have stakes.
That'd be fucked up.
Yeah. Not saying that I was going to do that by any means, but
like there'd be like election interference.
I think you just ratted yourself.
Maybe
out.
just something I thought of.
Wow, I didn't even think of that. How does that
Neither
make you feel?
We are innocent souls.
Wow.
I have multiple Google accounts, and I would have voted
I didn't
for
say
each
anything,
of us
and then we'll just see who wins.
You can't vote for yourself. It's against the law.
You'll never know.
But that's fair. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we'll find something fun. But let's jump into this here.
Yeah,
Kyle has our first pick. So what is the 101 of DLCs? In your opinion, the best DLC ever made?
That's not what I'm doing. I am doing I want to take one away from one of you guys that I think would be high up on your list. I want to take one out of contention by making sure it's on my list. And that's The Last of Us Left Behind.
Fucker.
What? I don't understand the logic of that. You're not picking one that you would pick. You're intentionally picking ones that we can't?
No, I would. I just wanted to make sure like it would also be like I have a couple on here that would maybe be better than Last of Us Left Behind, but I'm trying to actually play the game. I got you. I'm trying to take
You're playing the ADP game for all our fantasy football fans out there, the average draft position. This is a DLC that you might not think is the best, but you don't think would have made it back to you.
Yeah, and I arrived at this strategy organically and independently, so I'm just as smart as the person who thought of ADP.
That was number 1 on my draft board, by the way.
Get fucked.
That was also number 1 on my draft board.
Get fucked, bros!
So it worked. I mean, it did work.
Yeah! Let's go.
All right, Cody, you're on
the clock. Because of my position, knowing Shay has 2 and then it's back to me, I feel safe doing this one instead of my number 2. I am going to go... let me update here. Destiny the Taken King is what that should say.
That's a good pick. That's pretty high up on my list.
Literally revolutionized Destiny when that came out. Destiny was not on a good path.
Think about that.
Was not on a good trajectory prior to Taken King, and boy, it just did all the right things and brought that game back from possibly an early death.
Yeah, no, that's a good.
I agree. They tricked us basically into thinking that game was going to work out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get back-to-back picks. I am very tempted to pick 2 DLCs from the same series, but I don't think that I'm going to do that. First, I am going to pick Mass Effect 2, Lair of the Shadow Broker, which is my second favorite DLC of all time.
Yeah.
It's just such a cool story and reveal of the villain twist. And you learn so much stuff about Liara and like what she's been doing, in during the Mass Effect 2 time. It's just really really good time.
Hey, do you guys
You
know
know,
about Control Shift V?
What?
No,
So
no.
Control V is paste. Control Shift V would be like paste without any of the special formatting.
Good
So
to
it would
know.
keep the formatting and you don't have to fix it.
Good. Thank you.
Just
No.
yeah, a
Thank you for
little
the
hey,
production.
viewers at home, knowledge
Raptor pro
drop.
tip.
Control Shift V. Raptor pro tip.
Well, then
I
let's
I
yeah, go
love
ahead.
Mass Effect, and I've never played any of the DLC. Never.
Oh,
You should play all of the DLC.
Is it like
yeah.
Almost
do
all
you
of
do
it
you
is
access it
fantastic.
during your? Is it like a post game
Yes.
thing, or
No,
you
it's during.
It depends. It kind
Well,
of depends. There are some DLCs that like are good to play, in the middle of your playthrough or right before the end. Um, there
It's
may
all
be some more Mass
accessible
Effect
in the
DLC.
middle, like
Yeah, yeah,
during your.
with the
yeah. I
exception
imagine there
of
are
one Mass Effect
some,
3 one, which is like right before the end.
Gotcha.
and there's also one in Mass Effect 2, which I don't remember the name of it, Arrival or something maybe, that takes place, I believe, after the conclusion of the main story in Mass Effect 2,
Gotcha.
because it's sort
Sure,
of a
sure, sure.
prologue into 3.
Right.
Legendary
All
Collection's
right,
on my
well,
list of to play soon, so I'll
Yeah, I
definitely
think it
check that
has
out.
pretty much everything.
it's yeah, almost all of it is excellent. Okay, rather than do another Mass Effect DLC, as tempted as I might be, I'm gonna try Kyle's Raptor Pro tip here, and I'm going to take Bioshock 2
Nice job, nice
Minerva's
job.
Den,
Good pick. Damn.
which is I'm not a huge Bioshock 2 fan, although I did play it a couple of years ago and enjoyed it far more than I did the original. The original Bioshock is my favorite game ever made, so it's kind of hard to reach that peak. But Minerva's Den is such a cool collection of
Yeah.
puzzly stuff and atmosphere, and like is in a lot of ways better than the base game of Mass Effect 2. So
Bioshock 2.
psyched
But
to
yeah.
have that on my roster.
Man, remember that
Oh,
multiplayer?
what
That
did I say?
multiplayer
Go
was
back to it.
good.
It was okay. It was fine. It
It was
didn't need to exist, but it was fine.
it was good. All right, back to
All
Cody.
right. Yeah, I am going now I'm gonna go with my number 2 on the board, and that is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, a DLC that we just actually played
Yeah.
for the first time. But
And
it
I just
is
beat it on seamless co-op mode.
it is a good time. It has
It has its problems.
problems.
The map
Yes.
design, the map is very cool. The map design, a little unnecessarily complex.
Yeah, and the fact that like there's really only 4 like main bosses
Right.
in the DLC, though if you do everything it's like 30 hours. I mean, there's a good amount of content, not
Yeah.
required, but there's a good amount of content in there for the price. It's almost like an entirely separate game. I mean,
Yeah,
truly.
it's like half the length of the base game, pretty much. It's
Yeah.
huge.
So, yeah,
I think that's a fair pick.
I imagine you waited to draft that because you knew I wouldn't.
correct. So that's when you said you were
Yeah.
taking a page out of Kyle's book. I was like, oh no, but we're good.
Okay. All right, I get 2. So I'm going to, for my next one, I'm going to pick The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Shivering Isles.
Yeah, I figured if that wasn't your first round pick, it would be your second round pick.
Fucking like the map for that is huge. It's so much extra content, all those new items and weapons, new enemy types to fight. The Shea Gorath quest line is super fun. Like he's such a fun, like kind of like cantankerous and all around like jokester, Daedric god. You get a lot. There's just like they had a lot of fun with it, which I really appreciated,
Yeah.
and it felt like a whole different kind of experience in the same world. And I love that in order to go to it, you go through a giant fucking portal that appears on an island. It's like this huge, imposing thing. It's really cool. My second pick, I think, is also going to be a Bethesda pick.
Interesting.
Yes. I'm going to do Fallout 3,
Mm-hmm.
Mothership Zeta.
Interesting.
That DLC fucking rocks. You go to see a movie at the drive-in theater, you get abducted by actual aliens on board their space saucer, and you have to escape. You get a lot of like really cool alien weapons, and it's just like such a fucking fun sci-fi romp in that game, and you get to walk away from it with a bunch of cool stuff. That's always like one of my favorite things is that the DLC in the Bethesda games can do is you've played like the base game a bunch of times, you feel like you know everything, and then you go play this DLC and you get to come back to that familiar area with like new powerful things, and it kind of changes how you play, changes that experience up and freshens even the base game up a little bit. I think those are always really effective at doing that. So those are gonna be my 2 back-to-backs.
Okay, for pick 3, I'm gonna go with a game that I did not play until I did not actually like play and beat until the complete edition came out. So by nature of having played the complete edition, I played the DLC alongside of it,
Okay.
and I was really really surprised by how good it was, the DLC specifically, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds. Man, what a
Nice.
great DLC!
I'm really glad that one's getting a shout out.
I mean, obviously the base game is great, but that DLC is arguably as good as the base game. It is
Yeah.
quite good. I haven't played I've not even beat Forbidden West.
Forbidden
so I haven't
West.
done that game or its DLC, but yeah, I really really enjoyed the Frozen Wilds part of that game.
Yeah, I like the story in particular. I thought was really cool. Like
Yeah.
meeting one of the other whatever robot sphere things. Yeah, I like that a lot too. Okay. I'm in a tricky spot because I assumed one of these would get taken and none of them did, and so I have 3 that I really want on my team. Can I just pick 3 of them? Is that okay? Can we just
Nah.
like draft 3?
Nah.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I kind of as much, whatever. It's the stuff that I like, so I'm gonna do it.
Sure.
I am going to take. Oops, I'm trying to do Kyle's trick in the wrong order. I'm going to copy, and then I'm gonna do a fancy paste. I'm gonna take Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC.
Yeah.
I do think like the story, the plot in that DLC is like kind of meh, where there's an agent who ends up betraying you and the whole thing. It's like a dumb fun romp,
Right.
but its corniness I feel like leans into the celebration of all of
Yes.
your squad mates throughout the games. But like the meat of this is hanging out at Shepard's apartment and throwing a party and like getting wasted with all your buddies that you've gone on all this journey with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some real good fun stuff in there for
you very rarely get to see all the characters interact. It's always like a couple at a time who are on the away missions with you and stuff. Sometimes on the ship you'll see like little interactions and things, but like having everybody together in a room and like having these little vignettes, it's such an
different groupings and stuff. Yeah.
Such good payoff and so many like fun
Seeing
inside joke stuff.
Yes. It's like in Cody asking about like where this stuff takes place. Like this is one that you would play right before you finish Mass Effect 3. Like you want it to be right at the end and have that. It's like a last hurrah with everybody. Okay, and for my second pick, one that is like semi-recent also, Phantom Liberty.
Oh, sure, yeah.
This was like
really good.
My 3rd favorite game from the year that it came out a couple years ago. Story is really good. Dogtown is an amazing new area in the cyberpunk canon. I mean, and all like the new characters, Idris Elba's character and Mockingbird or Mockingjay or whatever her name is that you're kind of helping throughout. Yeah, it's got some really good twists and turns and a really like dark ending that it come to expect from cyberpunk storytelling. So yeah, Phantom Liberty is pretty dope.
I agree. That's a good pick. That was on my list.
I'm pretty psyched. I got 4 of my top 5 ranked DLCs.
That's good.
I'll take that.
Uh, I am going to go God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. I really liked this.
Yep.
It was like a therapy session for Kratos, basically, coming to terms with his past even more so than he does throughout the course of the 2 games. But just the combat really, I really mesh with the combat in that game, and that's largely what this DLC is around, being a sort of semi roguelike. But making it to the end felt very rewarding. You get the cutscene with young Kratos and him, like physically interacting with his past. I thought was really cool. And I guess technically maybe this doesn't count because I do think this was free. Is this?
It still counts. It still counts. Yeah.
Okay.
It was on my list also. Yeah.
Okay.
I would totally count it.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and I was surprised by it even existing in the first place. So, yeah, that's my pick.
Very cool adaptation of the like core combat mechanics to turn it into a roguelike kind of thing.
Yeah.
I never finished it, but more so than anything, I was just impressed by how that team was able to create that type of gameplay experience from a game that wasn't anything like that. I thought that was cool.
For sure.
All right, my next pick is, shocker, Alan Wake 2, the Lake House DLC. Because holy shit, this DLC is fucking incredible. Not only does it contain a teaser for what is now we know as Control Resonant, right? Resonant? It's just like a banger kind of I'm not going to say self-contained, but it's a banger expanded look at some of the kind of fringe events that are going on in the like concurrently with the second Alan Wake game, like going to the lake house facility, exploring that, finding new fucked up enemies, fighting them. Like it also, the way it expands upon the Federal Bureau of Control lore is really cool, and I really appreciated the commentary on, at the time, kind of the burgeoning AI tools that were being used and played around with in game development. I really like their commentary there. In that room of typewriters that are trying to basically generate Alan Wake text, and it's like it's not succeeding because it's missing, the core soul of what makes Alan Wake's powers work, etc. So it's just like just an all around fantastic experience. That game is one of my favorite games of all time. And I think that's in part because the DLC just hits so fucking hard.
It's a good thing you didn't draft that first.
Yeah, I knew neither of you were going to pick it. So, all right, my second one will be Red Dead Redemption, a classic, Undead Nightmare.
It's a good one also.
One of the early big console story expansion DLCs. It utilizes the same map, but it's like, he wakes up from like what feels like a bad dream, and everyone's turning into zombies, and you're riding around on an undead horse, and you're doing all this other cool shit. It was just a great way to a clever way to reuse assets, like reuse the map and reuse characters and stuff, but then kind of give a twist on the story. It was very pulpy in a way that the main game sometimes played with. It kind of felt like a further leaning in that direction of that like weird humor that Rockstar has. Just a really, really cool, fun, memorable experience. Undead Nightmare is really good.
Oh, let's see. There were a multitude of DLC from this game I could have chosen, and frankly, I liked all of them. But the one I think I'm going with is, let me copy this. Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment. So after Shovel Knight came, they released 4, I think there were total 4 DLCs where they were entire campaigns where you could play as one of the different boss knights that you play or you fight against in Shovel Knight. They had their own campaigns and stories and everything. But the Spectre Torment where you play as Spectre Knight, I think was the best one and a really good time.
The Dynasty Warriors 5 approach. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All the characters you fight against get their own storylines you can play as.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Basically the
All
same
right. This was the third one that I didn't pick last time because I knew neither of you guys would, but I am happy to take it, which is Skyrim Dragonborn. Entirely new gameplay space, which is huge. Tons of new enemies and quests. A really, really like a main quest that's better than Skyrim's base main quest. Yeah, this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Bethesda DLC, which is saying a lot because I have a lot of Bethesda in my nominees. But yeah, Dragonborn is the best thing from Skyrim's expansions, in my opinion.
I don't know that I actually played that one.
It took me years to actually finish it.
Yeah.
Because I would, every time I'm like, I want to go play Dragonborn, I would start a new character and then play 150 hours of base Skyrim and then burn out before going to Solstheim. And so once I was like, I'm forcing myself to go and just mainline the story so that I can see the whole thing through. In my recent replay of Skyrim, which I am over 200 hours on, I have not gone to Solstheim yet. Oh, I have two picks. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, who's going to break the silence first?
Yes, me. Okay, I'm very hyped to take this one also. I think this is like a dark horse because it is on the older side, but it is. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
I had that one, yeah.
It's like techno, cyberpunk, first-person
Crazy.
shooter, 80s future, gory, fun-ass. It's one, oh man, it's just so much fucking fun. The enemies are so good, the guns are so good, the vibes are so good.
The peak of Far Cry was Far Cry 3.
Yes, it is the best Far Cry thing,
Yeah.
I think.
I think you're right.
Oh, okay. So I think I know what my last three picks are going to be, and I think this one takes the top of the last three, provided I can get all of these, but I think I should be able to. I'm going back in the Destiny bag and going Destiny 2 Forsaken. This was peak me playing Destiny. This is when they did the big story ramp up when Cade 6 dies. This is when they introduced the new enemy type in the Forsaken, and this was the Dreaming City. When they added the Dreaming City, like the fact that like it changed every time people beat the raid, and like every week there were new things to do and new mysteries to solve and new puzzles. It was honestly maybe even in some ways more than the Taken King. It was peak Destiny for me. That was like my era of Destiny. And you know, Destiny 2 has gone a little downhill since then, but Forsaken was my personal favorite time to play Destiny.
All right.
For sure.
Forsaken was peak trying to get back into Destiny 2 for me.
Yeah.
I know, Kyle, we both bought it and were playing through it together and never finished the main story because we were just like, nah. But I did go back on like the 8th or 9th time I tried to get back into Destiny and played through the story and got to go to the Dreaming City, which like this was years later. It wasn't cool by this point, but it was cool to me.
Yeah. Okay. I got two more picks in a row. I'm going to do Outlast Whistleblower, the Whistleblower DLC for the first Outlast game. It's like a separate sort of like mini story that you can play kind of at any time after beating or before beating the original game. And there's a dude who's trying to chop your dick off a lot. He's really into chopping your dick off. And he's very threatening and very menacing, and it's extremely scary. And you do a lot of the like looking over your shoulder while you're running and sprinting in another direction. And it's really scary. And there's like a lot more of the supernatural stuff in there as well, which I think the main campaign really leans into towards the end of it. So it kind of ties a little bit of that stuff together, kind of fills out some of the gaps in in some of the like the lore of the facility that you're in and stuff, and some of the characters that you intersect with. It's really, really good. It's a great fun time. Second one. Ah, man. All right, sure. I'll keep with the horror theme. Resident Evil 7. End of Zoe. This is actually not a horror-themed DLC. This is where you play as Zoe, who is like one of the other female characters. You kind of like do her dirty a little bit throughout the course of the campaign. You have like a choice you can make about like what to do with her at a certain point in the story in 7. But this assumes that like, you know, she kind of succumbs to whatever the virus is, and she like basically crystallizes, and her uncle shows up, and he's like, hey, I haven't heard from, you know, my niece Zoe in a little while. I want to see what's going on with the, you know, Jack was acting all crazy. And so he's like this super big buff Southern dude, and he's looking for his niece, finds her crystallized, like goes to beat up the like Umbrella Corp people who are like toting guns and SWAT equipment and stuff. He like beats the shit out of them. And it's like, you gotta help me cure my niece or whatever. And you end up spending a bunch of time, like all the enemies you were afraid of and terrified of throughout the course of the main game, you're literally just like punching them and throwing giant spears through them and like making them explode. And at the end of the DLC, you find like an open military crate, and it's just a giant fucking punching power glove that like charges up, and you unleash like huge like supersonic punches, and just shit just explodes, and you can replay it with the power fist and just fucking, it is such a stupid, incredibly dumb DLC, and it is so fun. I highly recommend it. It is a good fucking time.
That sounds good, and like a fun way to experience parts of the base game in like a totally different way.
Yeah. All right, Cody.
All right. Gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go here. World of Warcraft Burning Crusade. That is when I got into.
I'm surprised it took this long to get a WoW pick from you.
I didn't need to do it early, dude.
Yeah.
This is when I started playing WoW. So I mean, it just holds a special place for that reason alone. But this is also still when it was all still relatively simple. Not too much added. You know, it was the first expansion to WoW, changing the world up, adding a whole new continent and everything. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool quality of life updates. They added the ability to fly and Azeroth and whatnot. So, yeah, Burning Crusade.
Okay, my last two picks here.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go back to the Bethesda well and take just to balance out the Elder Scrolls with some Fallout, and take Broken Steel, which is my favorite Fallout 3 DLC. This is actually, ironically, another like post game. I think you have to beat the game in order to play it, but because it raises the level cap.
Yeah.
But yeah, joining the Brotherhood of Steel and taking on the Enclave and giant robots, and yeah, it's just a good action-y type time. And I think it adds like other side quests and stuff too. So it's a nice, solid size expansion.
You get power armor through that, right? Because like you can't get power armor in the base game, but you can only get it through Broken Steel, I think.
Permanent. That sounds right. And then my last one, just like a fun one, is Borderlands 3 Moxie's Heist of the Handsome Jackpot, which is too big for our spreadsheet. This is, I ironically never played a bunch of Borderlands DLC because the game is so big that I was like, I don't need more of it.
Right.
But a YouTuber that I like I watched him do a playthrough of this and was like, I gotta go do this. It takes place in a casino after Handsome Jack is dead, and you're like trying to get his lost treasure. And just the environment is so fun in a casino because all the wacky shit happens. Bunch of robot enemies. Mad Moxie's in it, which earns some points on its own. But it's just like a good, stupid time and a great place to like grind legendary guns because they have all the slot machines and stuff. So it's a
Sure.
good like end game type DLC. So yeah, really fun time.
Okay.
All right. For my last pick, I do have a couple that I've played, but I just don't want to draft them. I don't think so. I had ordered them. The top 9 were ones that I've played. But yeah, I don't think I want to draft these two. So I'm going to go with one that I haven't played, but that I know is really good from osmosis, cultural osmosis, and that is The Witcher 3: Blood and Wine. People love
You're a punk.
Yeah, people.
I know.
People love
I was
Witcher
like,
stuff.
Yeah,
I should draft this, but I haven't played it, so I'm not
Right.
gonna draft it. And then you just go and do it anyway.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. It's like if you Google like what are the best DLCs of all time, it's always on every
Yeah.
list. That's a pretty smart pick. Tactical. Hmm. All right. I think my last one is going to be Dark Souls. Artorias. I think that's how you spell it, of the Abyss. This is the big Dark Souls 1 DLC. This is kind of the first Dark Souls boss that I really had to bang my head against. I think I streamed this one. And beating him felt really good. And then you realize there's still a lot more to the DLC, and then you have to fight Manus in the Abyss, and fuck Manus. He was not good for my build. Manus was a bummer. But it's a very good DLC. And has like a really weird way that you get into it. Like get into it by the Hydra. You have to like go to a cave past the Hydra and fight a thing and talk to it, and then go to the Seath, not Seath the Scaleless. Is it Seath the Scaleless? His crystal tower, his archives,
Yes.
Seath's archives or whatever. You go there, kill a crystal.
He was
dude.
asking me, Cody.
Oh yeah. Shay knows. You go there to kill a crystal dude to get a key, and then you go back to the cave, and then you can get into the DLC. It's really weird, typical Dark Souls bullshit. Once you're there, it's just a real roller coaster ride of awful, awful shit that you have to go through. But that's what makes it worth it, you know? Yeah.
So they say.
So they say.
Let's, for posterity's sake, let's each run through our teams and then see how we like feel about it.
All right,
how
my
you're
team.
First.
The Last of Us, Left Behind. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Shivering Isles. Fallout 3 Mothership Zeta. Alan Wake 2 The Lake House. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Outlast Whistleblower. Resident Evil 7 End of Zoe. And Dark Souls Artorias of the Abyss.
I have
pretty well-rounded-ish.
Yeah. I have Destiny: The Taken King, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree, Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds, God of War: Ragnarok Valhalla, Shovel Knight: Spectre of Torment, Destiny 2: Forsaken, World of Warcraft: Burning Crusade, and The Witcher 3: Blood and Wine.
Boo, fake Witcher fan. Boo.
I feel like your list might be a little more mainstream. Not in a negative way, but like it might connect with more people.
Sure.
All right. I have Mass Effect 2, Lair of the Shadow Broker, Bioshock 2, Minerva's Den, Mass Effect 3, Citadel, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Skyrim, Dragonborn, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon, Fallout 3, Broken Steel, and Borderlands 3, Moxie's Heist of the Handsome Jackpot. A lot of my favorite games. Makes sense that they made a lot of my favorite DLCs.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, sweet. Those are the picks. I feel like we definitely had some like heavy hitters that I happen to just have never played. Like Ballad of Gay Tony was one that comes up a lot as like people's
Right.
favorite GTAs. Prey, Moon Crash. I know there's one for like the Outer Wilds that people really love. Yeah, I'm sure there are
Yes.
many things that we just haven't played. So
I,
drop a comment. What are your favorites?
my joke answer, I had a joke answer lined up that I didn't end up pulling the trigger on, but it was going to
Okay.
be the Sega Channel. You guys know what the Sega Channel is?
No.
There's a TV channel that you could subscribe to, and they would beam games to your console over the airwaves, and it would like download them, and you could play them like on your Sega Genesis.
I feel like that doesn't really count though, because it's not downloadable. Like it's not an add-on to an existing base game.
I know.
That's the problem.
Why it was a joke answer.
Rejected
I did have on my list
entry.
the Halo multiplayer map pack on
Ooh,
original Xbox. Was like some of the first like add-on content.
yeah.
Certainly got a lot of play.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of other Bethesda ones like Old World Blues and Dead Money from New Vegas, Anchorage and Point Lookout, Fallout 3, Nuka World, Fallout 4.
I wasn't a huge fan of Nuka World, but I had Far Harbor on my short list.
Sure, yeah.
Cool concept.
RE5 Lost in Nightmare, where you go back to the mansion from Resident Evil 1, but it's in Resident Evil 5, so you're just like blasting the shit up. Borderlands 2's Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, the big one.
Really good.
Yeah, I mean they made a whole game out of that concept, basically. The other
the game wasn't that good, but the DLC was good.
Yes. The other Alan Wake 2, Night Springs DLC was terrific, and then like the 2 Metro Exodus DLCs, the Sam story, where it follows the character Sam like after he leaves the campaign, he's like trying to go back to America, I think. And it's like his journey to get back to America. There's another Metro Exodus DLC where you're like the Colonel and you're going and like kind of retracing the steps of one of your soldiers who died, and you're kind of like getting these little vignettes. It's like a really kind of touching, kind of more emotional DLC story that's really good. Those are some of the other ones I had on there.
There's lots of good DLC, man.
There
That's what I'm
are some
saying.
really
I had
good DLCs.
52 finalists.
Shay,
crazy.
this is a conversation I can only have with you. It is a bummer that the Spider-Man DLC was bad.
Yes. I never
Because-
finished it.
Yeah, all of it was not good. I mean, compared
Especially bad because that's where they introduced Black Cat originally in the first Spider-Man game. And Black Cat's like the one for me as a comic book nerd.
Wow.
But yeah, it sucked. I hated playing it. Too many dudes with missile launchers. It wasn't fun.
And then the screwball stuff, it just didn't land. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a bummer.
agreed.
Yeah, there's also
I
a
had
lot
the
of bad
Iki
DLC.
Island from Ghost of Tsushima. Iki Island DLC was really good. I had a bunch of Mass Effect stuff. I really liked the Leviathan. That was like you go deep in the ocean and discover like the progenitors of the Reapers.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Like,
we could go on and on
in the
about
base
all this
game.
amazing DLC.
That
should have been
like super should have been the base game.
Well, the Prothean thing was equally as with whatever his name is. I don't remember his name. But yeah, those are 24 in our individual opinions. Favorite DLCs. Pick your favorite in the comments. Vote theoretically. Link to our page where you can vote.
Yeah,
and let us know what DLCs you love and you would pick. And also, while you're there, maybe like the video, maybe subscribe if you enjoyed this. We do lots of stuff. We stream. We play lots of video games. We've got a bunch of stuff happening. We're going to be doing videos on Replaced, which comes out in a number of days. We'll do a video on Mouse PI for Hire. We've got a stream later this month. So a bunch of stuff coming y'all's way. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Kyle and Cody, for joining and for drafting such dog shit teams so that I could get all of my favorite games.
that's crazy.
And we'll see you in the next episode of Party Select. Peace out.